You are not the same person anymore. But the strange part is, no one told you when it happened. There was no shattered glass, no slammed door, no final words hanging in the air like smoke, no moment where you looked around and said, "This is where it changes." It just settled. Like dust on a shelf you forgot to wipe, like a season turning while you were sleeping, like a slow leak in a room you stopped checking. And now you wake up, wearing the same name, walking the same halls, but feeling like a quiet guest in your own life. You still make coffee the same way. You still answer when your name is called. You still say, "I'm good," when someone asks how you've been. But the words don't land the same. They just pass through, like they're meant for someone else. And you're just borrowing the voice. You catch yourself staring at old photos, old messages, old playlists, and you don't see a stranger. You see someone who used to believe things differently, someone who used to laugh before thinking, someone who used to trust before measuring, someone who used to run toward the noise. And you wonder, when did the measuring start? When did the quiet take over? When did the running stop? You didn't choose it. You just carried it, piece by piece, day by day, until the weight became your posture. They tell us change happens in milestones, graduations, breakups, moves, losses, big decisions. But the truth is quieter than that. It happens in the micro moments. The conversation you replayed at 2 a.m. until the words lost their shape. The text you typed, then deleted. The time you smiled when you wanted to walk away. The time you stayed silent when your chest was screaming. The time you spoke too soon and watched the room close up. The time you held on too tight and felt the grip slip anyway. Little fractures, barely visible, until one day, you realize they're holding you together differently. Psychology would call it adaptation. It would say your nervous system is just learning what's safe, what to brace for, what to let go. It's not broken. It's just calibrated now, rewired by repetition, shaped by what survived. Your brain doesn't remember trauma. It remembers patterns. And the pattern became, keep going, even when it hurts, even when it's quiet, even when no one is watching. And Stoicism. The old ones knew this too. They said you can't step into the same river twice, not because the water changes, but because you do. They called it nature's law. Not a punishment, just the way things move. You aren't failing to stay the same. You're just doing what humans do. You're adapting to gravity, to time, to the quiet erosion of expectation. But adaptation doesn't feel like progress in the moment. It feels like distance. Distance from people who still expect the old you at the table. Distance from your own reflexes. Distance from the version of you that used to feel everything so easily, so quickly, so loudly. And that's where the quiet conflict lives. You mourn a person who is still breathing. You look in the mirror and grieve the absence of a feeling. That used to be your default. You wait for the old reactions, the quick fire, the easy forgiveness, the blind leap. But your body doesn't move that way anymore. Your breath catches differently. Your hand stays still. Your voice lowers. And you wonder if you're becoming colder or if you're just becoming clearer. You didn't lose yourself. You outgrew the container. The old reactions, they don't fit anymore. Not because you're detached, not because you stopped caring, but because your system learned how to survive the quiet burns, the ones no one saw, the ones you didn't even name. You can't force the old laughter back. You can't force the old trust. It's like trying to wear shoes that shrank while you weren't looking and wondering why your feet hurt. The shoes didn't change. You did. And maybe, That's the hardest truth to sit with. We expect grief to come with a ceremony. We expect change to come with a signature. We expect to be told when we cross the line. But life doesn't work like that. It works like erosion, like rain on stone, like breath fogging a mirror, then fading. You didn't decide to become this person. You just kept living. And living is the quietest kind of sculpting. It chips away. It smooths edges. It leaves you softer in some places, harder in others. And you stand there, holding the dust of who you were, wondering if it's still you. There's a quiet psychological weight to this. The mind craves continuity. It wants a straight line. It wants to believe you are the same person you were before. But identity isn't a statue. It's a story you keep rewriting. And sometimes, you stop writing and just let the silence fill the margins. That's not surrender. That's integration. It's the nervous system finally saying, enough performing, enough bracing, enough trying to prove you're still the same. You don't have to force the old warmth back into rooms that no longer need it. You don't have to explain the shift. You don't have to apologize for the distance. The heart wants closure. The mind wants answers. But life just continues. And sometimes, continuing is enough. I know it feels heavy sometimes, that quiet weight in your chest. But here's what the quiet moments whisper. You're not broken. You're just recalibrating. The old version of you. It didn't die. It completed its work. And now, you don't need that armor anymore. You are not the same person anymore. And maybe that's the whole point. You're still here, just different. And sometimes, that's all you ever needed to be.